guys, Jody here, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be doing my January reading wrap-up / spoiler-free book review of the book I read in January. So first I'll talk a bit on what the book is about, and then I'll share my thoughts on what I thought of the book. So without any further ado, let's get on to what book I read in January. And that book would be Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman. Something in the Water is about a couple named Aaron and Mark. They seem to have it all. They have careers that they are very passionate about, that they love, that they enjoy, and more importantly, they are they are deeply in love with one another after so many years together. They get married, and after their wedding, they fly off to Bora Bora for the honeymoon of their dreams. The only thing on the agenda is to enjoy each other's company, relax, eat good food, swim, take in the sights, and go scuba diving. So after a few days relaxing away at the resort, they get a boat, go out on the ocean, and go scuba diving. They go scuba diving, they have a wonderful time, a great experience. As they are heading back to the resort, they notice something strange, something in the water. Dun dun dun! So does what Aaron and Mark find in the water? Will it bring them closer together, or will it tear them apart? Now that's the gist of what this book is about. I don't want to say anything else as this is a spoiler-free review. So as far as my thoughts on the book, after some time thinking it through, after some consideration on my thoughts, feelings, and opinions, I can now fully say that I really quite like this book. Initially, my reaction after immediately reading it was I liked it, but I was a bit disappointed. And that's because I went into this book thinking it was a mystery thriller. And about 3/4 through the book, I realized it's definitely not a mystery thriller, but more of a psychological thriller. Meaning there's very much a thrill ride, very much excitement, very much intensity in this book. But there weren't many twists and turns and secrets being revealed. So initially I was expecting those elements and they weren't really there. So that's why I liked the book, but I was expecting more. And then I thought to myself, what would I expect in a really good psychological thriller? Because honestly, this is maybe the first psychological thriller I've ever read, at least since I started reading again a few years ago. I think this is my first one. So what would I expect in a good psychological thriller? And I thought to myself, I would expect a thrill ride. I would expect intensity. I would expect excitement. I would expect a page-turner-like quality. And this book definitely delivered on all of those elements, because when I was reading this book, once it got to the part where you find out what's in the water, the story kicked into high gear, and it was a page turner until the very last page. I thought Catherine Steadman did an amazing, an excellent, a wonderful job with the pacing of this story. Like I said, once you find out what is in the water, the intensity factor just kept rising and rising and rising, almost like an ocean wave, until the very last page. It was just very well written. She just did a great job with this story. It was smart, clever. It just really kept my attention. Really kept my attention when I was reading this. I would say there were a few bumps in the road when reading this to making it nearly a perfect read for me. And the first one is that I did feel like it took a bit too long for us to find out what is in the water. Like, at least I have a mass market paperback here. That's what I read. And it did take at least till page 100 or so, I believe. I don't know. I forget the exact page number. But it took quite a while for it to get to that point of the story, which is the whole point of the story in a way. So I did feel like the story dragged on a bit before that. And then I also didn't care for the reveal at the end, which I would say is the closest to a twist in this story. I did feel like it fell a bit flat, and it was a slightly predictable way to go. That being said, overall, I had an amazing time reading this book. Like I said, I found myself wanting to turn page after page once I found out what was in the water. I was like, I want to know where this story is going, because it definitely had that thrill ride aspect perfect. And I do know that this is going to be optioned to become a film at some point by Reese Witherspoon's production company, which makes perfect sense because she obviously liked the story because it's in her book club, Reese's book club. And I really like this as a book, obviously, but I think it would work like even maybe possibly better as a film because, like I said, it has that thrill aspect, like where it can just like the intensity just keeps rising and rising and rising. And I just think if the film is well done, it would just be perfect. And I was trying to think who would play Aaron and Mark in the movie, and I don't have an actress for Aaron at the moment, but I really could picture Theo James from The White Lotus, or even Aaron Tveit from Broadway's Moulin Rouge. A theater actor. I love theater, so have to put it in theater actor if I think of a if I go one to play the part. But yeah, they would be perfect for Mark. I'm not sure about Aaron, and I don't want to ramble, so maybe if I think of a good actress to play Aaron, I'll come back to you on that at some point. But I haven't heard anything as far as the release date or who's in the cast. Obviously, if I'm doing dream casting right now. But so I haven't heard much about this movie, but it's been optioned, so it could happen in the future. But yeah, so have you read Something in the Water? If so, how did you like it? Have you read any other books by this author? Would you recommend what would you recommend I read next if you have? I recently picked up The Disappearing Act and Mr. Nobody, two other books by this author, but I haven't gotten The Family Game yet, and I have heard a lot of people like that one, but it did come out less than a year ago, so the hardcover copy is still quite expensive. Unless it goes on sale, I'm probably not getting it anytime soon. But I still have plenty of other books to read in the meantime. So I also have written a spoiler-free book review on my blog for this book, Something in the Water. It's more or less, in my review on my blog, it's more or less what I talked about today on my channel. But, I just thought I'd point that out, that I have a blog also where I talk about the arts, and my blog has a very similar vibe to my this channel of mine. Just, I talk about everything in the arts, like TV, theater, books. I haven't really talked about movies much. I don't watch movies as often, but it's my goal to start watching more movies this year, so hopefully. But yeah, the link to my blog is in the description below if you're interested. And yeah, that's it for today's video. And also, what did you read in January? So yeah, let me know in the comments below. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so very much for watching, and until next time, bye!